Hello everyone, this is your host Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Daily Stock in which we are going to consider the financial earnings for the last quarter of Walmart, which is the largest retailer in the world, and it has been doing quite well both from the point of view of its stock performance as well as its earning performance. In recent quarters, the earnings have been on the rise, and so has been its stock. And I feel this momentum is likely to persist with further expectations of growth in coming quarter. And I think that is keeping the investor sentiment positive, bullish, and we will see if there are emerging opportunities for us to trade and invest in the Walmart in coming days, coming weeks, and even coming months, because we are going to take not only short-term view but also longer-term horizon is going to be considered as well, and accordingly we will be looking for different opportunities on different time horizon depending on the kind of response the stock has been generating. So first we go to its earnings release, the report which was released yesterday only, and in it you can see that the company has done quite well with its revenue up by more than 5 percentage point. Now its consolidated revenue stood at US dollar 173.4 billion, which is a remarkable figure, and more so given the fact that recent quarters were particularly challenging for many of these retailers with the persistent high inflation. But the Walmart has weathered the storm quite well, and as things stabilize and as inflation is heading back towards its moderate level, we can expect further growth and better days ahead for the Walmart as well as its consumers. It has been doing its bit to grow favorite of the consumers. It has expanded its presence in the e-commerce segment as well, where its revenues have crossed $100 billion for the first time, and it has also been targeting the advertising segment with newer acquisition of related platform, the VZO Holding Corp. It is going to help it accelerate the Walmart Connect in the United States. All these things the company is planning and executing, keeping in mind the challenges, and I think the strategy has worked so far, and my expectation is that it will continue to do well in coming quarters as well. So we will be looking at its earning statement, the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement in particular to see what kind of cash it has been generating, how its current asset base is going to help it expand further in the future. For more detailed point to point information, you can always access these financial reports, the earning release, and there is a publicly available document which is available on the investors relation page of the Walmart. I will simply be taking you through some key highlights here, and the important one is listed here itself with this 5.7 percentage point growth for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2024 compared to the prior figure of US dollar 164 billion, and the gross profit rate is also higher. That means the operating margin has improved by 39 basis point. But if we look at the net income is not really seeing commensurate increase. Instead, it is lower because there were some other factors in play which resulted in lower EPS despite higher operating income of US dollar 7.3 billion. But I think this is likely to be a one-off impact, and as the revenues rise, as the operating income rises, the earning per share is also bound to rise in coming quarter. So that is what the investors are banking on, and that is what I am also banking on. Immediately after the earnings release, the stock of Walmart opened higher, but it hasn't been able to sustain momentum. And in today's session, it is trading lower by more than 2 percentage point. But that can be construed as a sharp movement on either side. But as things stabilize and further consolidation happens, we can expect better opportunities for us to exploit. First, let us have a look on the income statement, the consolidated income statement. The net sales are up here with these revenues crossing US dollar 173 billion, and then we have the cost of sales which are also higher. The operating expenses are also higher by 3.8%, and after adjusting all this, we have these operating income higher by 30 percentage point. Then comes the income before income taxes, and surprisingly enough, it is lower, because if we look at other items like gains and losses, there is this difference, and as a result of that, we have this net income this time around, which is lower in comparison to the fourth quarter 2023 net income, because that time around other gains were contributing quite a lot, and as a result of that, the net income figure was much higher. But this time around, this is attributable to the purely business operations of the company, and that is a gain which is more sustainable and more likely to be recurring, and that is why the investors are feeling more and more confident about the Walmart's operations. The balance sheet is quite solid with this cash and cash equivalents of almost US dollar 10 billion dollars. It has a healthy asset base, and it can meet any exigency, any emergency requirement, as well as plan for further growth by investing in capital assets. If we look at the cash flow statement for the year, the consolidated net income for the year was much higher at US dollar 16.2 billion, and that resulted in the cash provided by operations rising substantially to US dollar 35.7 billion, which is almost 25 to, yes, 20 to 25 percentage point higher in comparison to the prior year's cash flow generation. Out of that, the US dollar 21.2 billions were used in the investing activity. That means more money is being invested this time around. And for the financing activity, the company spent less money this time around, with the purchase of company stock costing only US dollar 2.8 billion, which is much lower in comparison to almost US dollar 10 billion, which were spent a year back. So as a result of that, after adjusting all these changes, we have the increase in net cash and cash equivalents by 1 billion US dollar, which is a big number. And if we look at the prior year's cash increase and decrease, there was decrease of US dollar 9 billion, and now there is turnaround, and the Walmart is able to generate and increase its liquid asset base. So I feel This is also a remarkable development, and it is going to enhance the investors' confidence in the operations of the Walmart. Coming to the forward guidance, the company is expecting the coming quarters to be quite good as well, with it expecting the revenue growth to be sustainable and further increase of 3 to 4 percentage point in the fiscal year 2025. The operating income is also being expected to rise with the interest increase of approximately $100 to 200 million. The tax rate is not really likely to change much, and the EPS is expected to be higher in comparison to the current year's EPS. So overall, the company is painting a rosy scenario for fiscal year 2025, and if it goes as the company is expecting, I think next time around next year, we will be looking at Walmart stock, which is likely to be much closer to 200 than what it is at the current juncture. Of course, many things can change. Our assessment can go wrong, but even in that uncertain environment, we do have to do a projection, and I feel at the current juncture, the projection can only be on the upside. Now coming to the short-term price moves. Here, this is the chart with each candle period defined of hourly time frame. And in the recent past, the Walmart stock has been consolidating close to 170 level for last couple of weeks. For the first half of this month, it spent in a narrow range with these moves being in the narrow range of around 2 percentage point, and now that range has given way to a further upward breakout. Now it will be interesting to see how things unfold in coming days, because I feel if the Walmart stock holds the ground and doesn't really decline towards the prior lows and below this prior swing low. So the 170 price zone is going to be crucial if it holds and consolidates with upward bias in the coming days. I think we can indeed make a fresh move for the expectation of a move on the higher side beyond 180, 181 level. But for that, I think consolidation is a prerequisite for the stock to stabilize and offer us a better risk reward ratio. At the moment, nothing is really wrong apart from the fact that it has already seen a sharp move, and if it simply remains sideways, then we won't be able to make money, and that is the only reason I feel we should take it easy and allow it to consolidate first, and maybe after a couple of days we can take a fresh look and see if there are emerging opportunities for us to buy, as long as this immediate swing low holds and it continues to consolidate with upward bias. So for next few days and maybe next few weeks also, the best thing to do is going to be adopt a buy on dips strategy. Now let us change our time horizon to the medium term, and here the stock has already seen a strong rally from the level starting close to 150 to now close to 175. The stock is up. At one point in time, it was up almost 20 percentage point from its immediate low, and even at the current juncture, it is substantially higher. Now the question is whether this formation of higher highs and higher low is going to persist or not. And of course, the simple answer is that only time will tell. But for us, we can't really wait that much. The only thing we can do is mark some key levels, and in that context, I feel this prior swing low of 167 is going to be crucial in coming weeks as well. So for us, we will have to think of the current move has already been extension of the range for further move. I think here also we will have to adopt a wait and watch approach. The current price level is not really providing us a newer opportunity to invest and trade. Rather than that, given the strong rally the stock has already seen, I would expect a breather, and maybe we can go for a buy on dip strategy in the stock as well. But for that, at least a couple of weeks will have to be given for the consolidation of the stock. So as we saw during the short term charting formation, for the medium term also we will have to adopt a wait and watch approach. So the similar strategy is likely to bring better returns than acting in haste and going for a buy straight away. In the long run, it has already seen a fresh breakout, and I think we have the possibility of strong continuing to rally on the higher side, and in course of time the price levels around 200 or thereabout can be expected. But first, the requirement for us to invest in it is going to be maybe a slight dip on the lower side, and the price zone of close to 160 165 should be a better price area to get involved from the longer term perspective. And as long as this immediate swing low holds, and if the stock doesn't really decline much in coming months below this immediate swing low, we can indeed go for a long trade. And if it goes on to make a fresh swing low, then we will have to go for a wait and watch approach, and allow it to consolidate for many more months before we can make a fresh move, fresh bet. But as long as it holds immediate swing low of 149, we can go for a new trade for next couple of months as well, with the expectation of its rally towards 200 or thereabout. So on all the three time horizons, starting from short term to long term and medium term included, the strategy of buy on dips is advisable. We have strong momentum in favor of the stocks upward trajectory, and also its revenues, its income is also being helped by better metrics and its successful strategy. So we can indeed take advantage of this bullish momentum and try to profit from that. The only thing which we will need to do is keep figuring out the better risk reward ratios and go for the trade when we feel our risk is rather limited, and we can exploit the possibility of further move on the upside in a favorable manner. So that's all from my side for today's session of Daily Stock. If you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me in the feedback, and I'll be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. And one thing I forgot to remind you is, of course, these many times repeated request to like and subscribe to the channel if you have found the session informative and useful for your trading and investing decisions. Do follow the channel, and you will be getting to watch similarly informative sessions by me as well as other Dukascopy Academy hosts. Now it's time for me to wrap up the session and sign off for the day. Have a fabulous time ahead. See you next time around. Till then,